The UK economy has been flat for the last 24 months, with only a handful of events this year having any positive effect whatsoever, including the Queen's Diamond Jubilee and some positive manufacturing output. Of course, they're all a bit too small really to see any significant difference ahead of the coming months. Well, the National Institute of Economics and Social Research have released their latest update for the 3 months ending in June. On the line is one of their senior researchers, Simon Kirby. Hi, Simon. So we saw a brief but tiny amount of growth earlier in the year, the first 3 months in fact, by 0.1%. With media hype, some people pointed to a road to recovery, but that really isn't the case, is it? In fact, your latest estimates show a decline of 0.2%, don't they?
Yeah, so what we do estimate a contraction in the second quarter of this year of 0.2%. This is largely due to the impact of the additional bank holiday due to the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. So what we need to do is actually look through that and look at what is underlying growth. And although it remains weak, it is nevertheless positive. So we're suggesting that underlying growth for Q2 was actually plus 0.2%. As you've already stated, you know, the best view of actually what's going on in the UK economy is a continuing flatlining of the UK economy. Now, we don't expect that to persist. We do expect to begin to see growth towards the end of this year and into 2013. It's 2013 to 2014 when we do expect the recovery to take hold. But as the UK economy is close to around 4% below the pre-recession level of start of 2008, there's still quite clearly some way to go before we just recover that pre-recession level of output.
There's a fairly optimistic view on a recovery by 2013 to 2014, but don't you think that's a little premature, given that there's been no real great news over the last 24 months, and manufacturing, despite stabilising a bit, hasn't really taken off due to a lack of demand, particularly from Europe?
Oh, I think there is certainly a real risk of that. I mean, the one underlying important point to make is effectively all these forecasts depend on a view for the euro area. And really what happens there is dictating what's going to be happening to UK economic growth over the next few years, given that we're talking about an export-led recovery, and the major export market for the UK is obviously the euro area. Now, there is a structural shift towards emerging markets, but that is going to take some time and will not substitute for any loss in demand for UK goods and services in the euro area over the next few years. You are correct that there is real concern over the extent that we should be expecting recovery in 2013-14. The major influence on what's happening in the UK at the moment is undoubtedly the euro area, especially when we're looking ahead. And it's really what happens in the euro area that dictates what's going to be happening to UK economic growth over the next couple of years. We're focusing on an export-led recovery, or we're expecting an export-led recovery to happen, and that clearly requires resolution of the euro area crisis. Were that not to happen, were things to deteriorate, then I don't think we would be talking about recovery in the UK in 2013-14. In actual fact, we'd be talking about a return to quite a serious recession.
Now, I know you briefly mentioned an export-led recovery via Europe as the way for UK GDP to increase, but are there any other ways it could be improved over the coming months?
Well, aside from the euro area crisis and the various channels that can propagate through to the UK economy, one of the key factors is actually what's going on with regards to the UK domestic economy. So I'm thinking about non-financial corporations and households, and they're undergoing, in particular households, are undergoing a process of deleveraging. Now, that won't persist forever, and when that stabilises, we should expect to see some pickup in consumption growth as long as we begin to see real incomes rising at a meaningful rate. And when those two factors do coincide, then we should expect to see some contribution from the domestic economy going forward, but that's probably going to be 2013, 2014, if the euro area crisis is resolved successfully.
Thanks, Simon, for talking us through the main gist of the NIESR's latest release on UK GDP. That's all for now, though. Don't forget we've got 2 interviews tomorrow focusing on gold and the Russian economy, so join us then. But for now, goodbye.